Hello. Hello. So today we can do a little tour of the bus. So this is a 1975 Ford Ward Chevy bus. I'm working on some artwork. It's not really coming out, but oh well. So, for those of you that don't know, buses are made by a variety of different companies usually. So in our case, Chevy made the chassis. Ford made everything, from the windshield up, and Ward made the body. So here's the front of our bus. It has a 391 V8, which is a gas guzzler. We might change it to a diesel eventually, but she runs really good, so can't complain there. This is our front door. We got all the parts from Restore. This is a solid wood slab, and then a window that's double pane. And we decided to forego the bifold doors just for security and to help with drafts. So, oof. Whew, it's a little sticky. So, we decided to keep this little stairway entry. It says Ward on it. We have a threshold that keeps out the water. This water that's in here is just from me tracking it in. But, yeah, let's take a step on in. Close the door. So we're eventually going to do a door jamb here, and then I'll keep it, this door likes to swing in, obviously, because there's nothing stopping it. So we're going to weather strip the top. We have a little bit of plastic up here for now while we can get that weather stripping in, just to protect it from the rain. We've gotten a lot of rain recently, so let me wipe off this little guy real quick. Got some rain on it. It's been pouring outside. So, this is our front door. We love it because it has a huge window, which is really nice for the driver. So, we'll be able to see out the door and everything like that. And here is our bus. So, what we were working on yesterday, we decided to get some vinyl tile floor. And they're self-stick vinyl tiles, as you can see, by Traffic Master. So why we didn't run our other flooring all the way up is because vinyl is very durable, and if it gets wet from mud or water that we like to track in sometimes, it'll hold up. So that's why we chose it. And it's got a peel and stick backing, so that's pretty nice to have. So yeah, we're gonna run it all the way to here. As you can see, this lip was a little tricky. We had welds that we were trying to take out, but we just decided to go around them right here. I don't know if you can see, but we're gonna do a threshold here. We're also gonna do a threshold here. I'm gonna make it out of just wood, and then I'll stain it. We did get one from Home Depot, but it just doesn't fit the application, so we'll be returning that. Up here in the front, we're going to have a school bus seat, which is the bench seat that you all know. It did come with a driver's seat, obviously not this seat, but we decided to use the school bus seat so we could both sit up here while we're traveling. And that'll be nice. We'll just have to put an extra seat belt in there for 2 people. So, yeah, we'll just have to, we wanted to finish the flooring, and then we're going to obviously put the seat in and the seat belts. So this engine runs fabulously. Very interesting. I mean, obviously it has a manual choke. It's kind of getting stuck, but we're going to work on that. We're also working on the wiring. There was a big ol' heater core in here that used, the coolant from the engine. And we took it out. It was pretty gross. There was some sort of animal living in there, so we took it out. And so now my project is bypassing it and continuing the circuit for all the other electrical, which includes dome lights in the ceiling. So here we have our bathroom wall. I was able to get some old fencing off Craigslist for free down in Longmont. I had to go pull it. That was about a day's of work, but it was worth it. I think it looks really sharp. I really like it. So we had to clean it off, and we framed it in right into the frame of the bus. So it's solid. It's not going nowhere. As you can see, we finished our ceiling, which was a huge endeavor. Let me take off my shoes here. So what was in here before was obviously the metal ceiling that is, you know, in pretty much all school buses. So metal ceiling, no insulation behind it, huge issue, really bad for, you know, any sort of insulation. So we decided to remove all of them. You can see our other video. We had to remove all the rivets in the whole school bus, take all of them down. We even removed this panel. We cut it to size and put it back in because this is going to be our bathroom. And of course, we don't really want a wood ceiling in a restroom or shower area just because, you know, it's liable to soak up any moisture. So we will be sealing these, obviously, but we just decided to do just our metal ceiling. And it'll be also cool because for our shower curtain, we're just gonna stick on some magnets, so it'll be pretty neat. So there's our ceiling. So we took the whole ceiling out. This huge endeavor took us a long time, but we got it out. We were able to insulate it all using panel insulation, cutting it to size, and then using fiberglass insulation that Justin got from his work for free to put it in. Now, obviously, the panel board wasn't free and it was quite expensive, but we decided we wanted to do it right. So, on top of that, we have panels that are tongue and groove. Here you can see the tongue, and we are going to do trim pieces. Obviously, we're in the middle of everything, so we don't really have all the finishing pieces. Obviously, right here, we're going to do a trim piece as well, and throughout we're going to finish it. So we did use these panels, which are blue stained pine, which is beetle kill. Beautiful. We only put a few screws in each one. As you can see here, there's quite a few. Once we got to the edge, you know, because of the curve of the ceiling, it was a bit tricky to get them all in. So we had to use quite a few screws, but as you can see, there's not a million screws in the ceiling here. So we use the screw sparingly, allows for, you know, of course, expansion and contraction of the ceiling, which of course it's going to get hot and cold. So, yep, this is our ceiling. Like I said, we will do trim over here. We were able to save our dome lights from the original school bus, and they fit right in perfectly in between these. We're working on the electrical, like I said. This is the only guy that worked. All the electrical, all the lights worked when we first got it. I messed up when I took out that heater core. So now we're working on fixing that circuit. But we do have all the lights here. As you can see, I was testing the light bulbs, making sure they work. They work. So, this is our beautiful ceiling. And let's go back to the front. Flooring. So, obviously, I just discussed about the vinyl flooring up here. In here, we have laminate flooring, which is also by Traffic Master. It is the Brazilian cherry. So, really beautiful. I think it matches with the ceiling and the redness and such. So, it was pretty easy to put in. I mean, anything with this bus is a little difficult because nothing is the way it should be. Nothing's square, nothing's even. So, once we got it started, though, we got the click in. These are, you know, self-locking panels. And we did do 150 square feet, which was perfect. We were even able to run it under here, which is actually our cabinet. So, on the top part here, we have pine. Now, I wasn't able to get vices because they're quite expensive for a long vise. Not to mention, it wouldn't fit here. So, we're just going to have to sand it down, put in some filler, and then seal it with fiberglass resin. So we'll do that. We did get this cabinet in. This is just OSB board that we framed in. We're going to finish it with wainscoting, much like the walls, which obviously aren't done yet. We do have our mini fridge right here, which is just, you know, common household mini fridge. We got a good deal on it for a little while ago, so we've been hanging on to it. We also get this tiny little washing machine. It's very small, but it'll do you know, do work. It'll wash our clothes and stuff, which is really awesome. And it does have that spin cycle, which is really awesome. Help with the, wringing of clothes. So we are going to put a pull out in there underneath so we can pull this out. And then there is obviously the water exhaust that we will put into our stock tub that we have for our bathtub / shower. And that'll go right in this area right here. And then we'll have our toilet here. And because it's open, we're probably going to put a chair over the toilet. So it just looks like, a chair, a nice little chair, and a bathtub. So that's how our bathroom will be. And as you can see, there's also a little bar area. This is where we're going to eat, right here. We secured it to the frame, so it's on there. We also have these little stools we got at a garage sale for $5 for a pair. As you can see, it's a little shaky, so we do need to make these a little more solid. And we are going to put, we're going to take this off and put a little storage bin right there. So, and they also do fold up, so we can have, a TV dinner tray, if you will, if we ever need it. And then here's our kitchen. We did get this stove from Brian, who had all the RV parts. It's a really nice stove. The only thing is it had that wood grain kind of deal going on here for the backing area and the pull out right there. So I am repainting that white. It'll match this right here. So that's why that's not there right now. But it's a really good stove. I like the stainless kind of look to it. And I was able to kind of suck this counter in a lot better than the other side. I just used wood and screws and made a homemade vise for it. Because like I said, those vices are expensive and we didn't want to spend $100 just on vices. So this is sanded down. It needs another, sanding probably. But we will finish this also with fiberglass resin on top. And we do have a little backsplash here that goes all the way down. So on the outside of the bus, all you see is just a solid piece of wood. That way you don't see the back of this, which is kind of ugly. So, and then here we have just a bookshelf. It's going to be good for holding, small, small appliances, like a rice cooker and plates maybe, things like that. So that'll be nice little storage. And then, of course, a little bit of extra counter space right here. This will also hold our dishes and things. So, our sink here, we just gotta seal it in there and hammer it down. It got a little crazy when we tried to pull it out, so it's a little bent, but we'll fix that. Yeah. So, and then the black and gray water tanks obviously will go under the bus. And then our sink stack will be somewhere. So I did run some wiring. This is 14 gauge household wiring, just to the spots that we need it to. So we'll have one in the bathroom. Might be nice if we have, anything. It's always better to over wire, I feel like, as you need it. So we will have a wire coming over here, and we're going to run that under the bus. We don't want to, bring a wire out from the front or from the back around the bus, because obviously, there's a wood stove there that's liable to get hot, and then this would just be impossible to try to navigate through and over the door. So we're going to run it under the bus. And here we have just the bare wall. We are going to insulate it with fiberglass, just like I did over here. We decided fiberglass instead of the board, not only because it's cheap and Justin can get it for free, but also because it kind of squishes down, and you can put quite a bit back there in between the wall and then the bus side. We didn't remove any of these panels. It would have taken way too long. As you can imagine, we already did the ceiling. This would have taken too long, not to mention these rivets right here are very hard to remove. So we're just going to put it on top of here. There's this rail right here. This rail is for the school bus seats. Like I said, they only have, 2 sides, and the rest secures into the frame of the bus. So this is where the old school bus seats are. You know, they would secure right there. So we are going to have to work around this rail. But what we're going to do is we're just going to, you know, kind of put a board here to the side. And then obviously the insulation in between. And then on top of it, we're going to do a wainscoting bead board, whatever you want to call it, right here. And we'll paint it white. Same color as everything else. These guys needed another coat of paint, but that's going to be our kind of interior color. It's an antique white. So here we have our hearth. I did the tiling on it. Most people don't use tile in their RVs or school buses just because there's flexing that's involved in moving the bus, and it's liable to crack. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of a crack already. I'll be able to seal it again. I still have leftover grout, so I'll be able to do that. It came out really nice. I just used my hands and a sponge. Came out quite nice. We got this stove off Craigslist. It's a Plainsman. It's actually a knockoff Jodel, which is a very excellent stove. Very efficient, very small, but very efficient. So we're really happy we were able to get this. Excuse me. The only issue that it had was, well, it wasn't really an issue. It came with a metal asbestos insulated stovepipe, which, as you might know, are pretty expensive. They're about $300 each for a metal asbestos insulated stovepipe. And we were really excited that we got it. Unfortunately, there's no one that sells metal asbestos here in Fort Collins. So we had to switch to metal fab because we were able to, and that's what this is here. This is our insulated stovepipe, runs through the ceiling. There's flashing, there's a stove cap, storm collar, all that jazz. We switched to this so we could do expansions and so we could get a stove cap that fit because, like I said, no one had the metal fab here in Fort Collins. So we also used the steel original ceiling here. Really good for the stove, nothing flammable, and it is insulated with rock wool behind here. Pretty solid. You know, like I said, different insulation over here, but here, super fire rated, really good. We're going to fill in all these screw holes with screws, paint it, and it'll be good. As for right here, there were 2 windows here, obviously. We did fill them in. We used some more of that ceiling panels that we had left over. Cut it to fit. We have one on the inside, one on the outside. As you can see, that's where I tried to make my art. So we have that insulated. And then we also have, just like underneath, we have our cement board. And then we also have these pretty panels that I got from this guy that was getting rid of all of his ex-wife's things. So we got those about a year ago. So it's really pretty. Good use here. So, and over here we have our couch. I'm actually inside working on reupholstering the cushions right now. It's coming out pretty well. I just didn't want to bring them out because that's the last thing we're going to put in. Obviously, we don't want our cushions getting all full of sawdust, all full of whatever, you know. So, they're inside. And here, we just framed this up using 2x4s. We secured it into the side of the bus and into the wheel well. Obviously, this is covering the wheel well right here. And there is another wheel well right there. So, making good use of the space working around those wheel wells. And we'll have a lot of storage underneath. There's 2 lifting panels, one right here, one right here. That obviously has a lot of stuff on it, so I can show you this one. So here we have our hinges, just regular hinges we got. These are the same boards that we used for the countertops. They're just pine boards. 1x2s, I believe, something. So I got this design off the internet. I really liked it. Like you could see, it lifts up, extra storage, and also I loved it because it pulls out, and it pulls out into a bed. And the cushions we got are actually perfect for this. So we have those working with us. It pulls out. We're going to use more of these cedar planks that we got for free as well. They're fencing. We're going to put them on the edge here for support. We did have to wait because we weren't sure what kind of flooring we were going to use and how thick it would be. So we didn't want to put those in yet until we got the floor down, which we just got in this week, or last week, I guess. So, and they will slide in. There's going to be 3 supports, one right here, and one right here, and that'll hold it while it's open to have a bed for 2 for any guests that we have. And then it will slide in. And those boards we're going to actually glue them to existing boards so it looks like one piece when it's closed. And I was thinking about keeping this. I mean, I think it's pretty, you know, it's cedar, but we just have a lot of wood going on anyway, so I'm just going to paint it white, the same color as everything else. So, got to sand it down first though. And the most important part of this design, so we have a moving panel right here, attaches to the moving one right here, and then we have our fixed panel that just lifts up and down. So the most important part of this design is that there is a longer fixed panel. As you can see, this is longer than that or that, and that is because when you push it in, it lifts the whole thing up, whereas if it were just cut like that, when you try to lift it up, it would be something similar to that, which doesn't do much good, puts extra stress on the other pieces, and it's just good to have this long piece here so you can really lift it up nicely. Here we have our bed. As you can see, we stopped our floors. Didn't need to continue our flooring under there because we are going to actually have little cubby holes here that we'll put in baskets into to hold our clothes, and those will run about 18 inches back. As you can see, there's a little line there, and I am running wires here because we are going to have a TV mounted here, so it'll be nice to have, you know, plugs here for phones and TV, etc. So underneath this is our bed. This is going to be where our bed goes. So underneath here we are going to have storage, and it will be accessible through that back door. We are keeping that back door fully operational. Unfortunately, there were bullet holes in the windows. There were bullet holes in the door in the front, the bifold door, and then in these windows right here. So we filled them in with wood for now. We are going to replace that window eventually. We just have wood there now to keep out the rain. We're probably going to keep that one. Eventually we're going to have a deck up top, and we kind of want a rock climbing wall going up, but we might just have to settle with a regular ladder. Also, we might down the road get an AC unit and mount it in there. Our bus is actually very old. Most buses nowadays, if you remember, have those emergency exits in the roof. We don't have any of them, which is kind of good because most of them eventually leak. And this bus is 40 years old, and those seals usually don't last for 40 years. So no holes in our roof at all. Our bed is simply hardware used for decking, holding these 2x in for supports. And we really like that idea. We use less wood because we didn't have to frame it. We know this is not going anywhere. And if we ever need to, you know, access this area or modify it or anything, it'll be a lot easier to, you know, we're going to have screws here, obviously, to hold it down, but just remove the screws and then lift these guys up. So that'll be nice. As you can see, some kids probably kicked the side with their shoes and it's gotten stuck there over the years. But like I said, this will all be covered with our walls. So that's about it. Oh, also, our friend Abe did a beautiful work of art on our bus. It's our wolf for our wolf bus. So that's there. We're also going to do trim pieces coming down here. I'm a huge fan of this kind of wood. I don't know why. It's cheap. Obviously this one's yucky, but it's cheap. It's pretty, it's solid, and trim is really expensive. So we're going to paint this white. If you can imagine, it'll be over all the windows there. And here as well. Trim, trim, trim. Lots of trim. So that is our bus. I can't think of any other progress we've made. We do on the outside, it is pouring rain right now, as you can see. We do have we painted the whole outside of the bus with Rusty Metal Primer by Rust-Oleum. Great stuff. And it's about this color. Now, we painted the entire bus with it. We really wanted to not have any rust at all on our bus. So we used this great paint, great primer. Unfortunately, when we did that, the ceiling, because it's so dark, it got really hot, and the seams kind of busted. So we had a lot of leakage for a little bit there, but we ended up using white elastometric rooftop paint for the top of the roof, which sealed any cracks that we had. And it just looks a lot sharper. We do have green on the outside. You can see on our we got a little dent on our hood. But yeah, on our hood here we have green. It's the same color for the whole outside of the bus. I would show you, but like I said, it's pouring. We also have little handprints for everyone that helped us here on the rear of our bus. We are going to be using just a very thin mattress up here. We don't want to add any more height, to our bed. We don't want to have to get a running start to jump in it. So I'm really excited because, in my drawings and my blueprints, I had expected the couch to come out quite close to the bed. This is about 7 feet of couch, a little more, I think. And then we do have our full length in here, and we have a full-size bathroom. So I was really excited. Most of the time it doesn't work out in my favor, but I was really excited. I'm going to hopefully have a collapsible desk right here so I can do schoolwork or any other work that maybe need to be done, sewing, etc. It'll be nice to have a desk here. And then right here we'll have some area for a dog crate too. So that'll be nice for our puppy until she gets a little older. And then, like I said, this will be collapsible too. So if in the winter time we still need to kennel her, she can go over here. A lot of the stuff we have here is multi-use. So it's really nice. We got to make sure we use every square foot of this bus. So here is our bus.